Good evening and welcome back to the Rory Talks Football channel, your daily Arsenal news updates, debates, and my opinions. If you're new to the channel, please do subscribe. We are on the way to 11,100 subscribers. And if you could click that like button, I would be incredibly grateful. Apologies for the state of my voice. It is slowly fading away, much like our title chances did last season. No, what a ridiculously negative way to start the stream. But no, apologies if I sound a bit rough. But there's lots to talk about today, and there's loads of you here. So we're loving life. It's a Saturday night, and I appreciate everyone that's here. Kieran C, Pekka, Jakob, Lukey, Icarus, Jack Sachs, Cyprian, VV Vlad, Sportcat, Hyper, Ethan Udall, Loopy, Hannah, Ross Lawman, Kian, Kazanex, Anu Brata, Fizzy, and many, many more. It is good to see you. Big GZ, you have indeed caught alive. It is good to see you. No more 2 p.m. kickoffs. No more 2 p.m. kickoffs. Do you know what? Ben Mattinson's in the building. What a legend. If you don't follow Ben on Twitter, follow Ben on Twitter. Just that will increase your knowledge of players that you may not have heard of exponentially. We need a banger of a game tonight. Feels like it's been a while since we've had one. That is true. Wilsey, good to see you. You don't need to apologize. You don't need to apologize. Yeah, the Portugal game just then, shout out to the people that were watching with me on Tifo. I felt like once Portugal took the lead, the game wasn't very good. It wasn't very good once Portugal took the lead. But there we go. Anyway, things to talk about today. The first one, the big one, I suppose, is EZE. And this came from Team News and Ticks. So it is reliable. It was on Team News and Ticks' Patreon. I've been told by two unconnected people. That's usually a good sign, by the way, if two different people have heard it from their own sides. I've been told by two unconnected people that Arsenal are looking at Eberechi Eze. I know loads of people at the club like him. Eze has a very affordable release clause, which is around 60 million, but a large amount of that clause does need to be paid up front. So that does make it harder when a significant portion of the release clause needs to be paid up front, just because it means you can't spread the payments out, which is obviously easier for FFP and PSR. But Eze, I like it. And it's interesting. It was interesting on Twitter today when this came out. I was seeing some people weren't happy or not really excited by Eze. Seemingly age is the only reason that people don't want him, because he's nearly 26. But look, players' careers develop at different rates, and I like Eze. I think he's versatile. He's explosive. He can take it past anyone. You know, when we look at trying to break teams down, Eze is better than any single player in our squad at taking it past a man. Better than Saka, better than Martinelli, better than all of them. He's versatile. He can play off the left, off the right. He can play as an 8. He can play as a 10. Premier League proven. You know, I like him. So for 60 million, I would not be too unhappy. Ross Lawman, personally not a fan of Eze to join us. Nothing against him. He's phenomenal. I reckon in an Arteta system, it will take away from his attacking ability, kind of like Grealish at Man City, in my opinion. But does that logic not apply to any attacking player? Because I understand that logic. I do understand that logic. But does that what attacker does that logic not apply to in terms of they have to change their game in an Arteta system? Better than Trossard? I'm a Glazer. Yeah, better than Trossard, yeah. Taking a man on. Welcome, Cyprian. Just subscribe. This is my first ever stream. Welcome to the Rory Talks Football community. It is good to see you here. We need more homegrown players too, with the Hairline guys leaving. Yeah, I still don't think we're in too bad of a situation with that, right? Because Raya counts as homegrown. Saliba counts as homegrown. Martinelli counts as homegrown. You've then got Saka, Rice, White. So we're not far away anyway. You'd imagine, unless all of Nketiah, Reece Nelson, and Smith Rowe leave as well, it wouldn't be too bad. But yeah, there's no harm in having another one, that's for sure. Where would Eze mainly play for us? I could see him playing off the left. In some games, he'd suit the 8. Not many, truthfully, I don't think. But in some games, he could. Poland are out already. I'm ready for Premier League games now. Burn off the Euros. Jakob, commiserations for the Poland team. Kind of harsh in a way. Not harsh, but unfortunate. You probably got that. Realistically, Poland got the hardest group. You know, it had Netherlands and France in it anyway, which is two big teams to have. And then Austria as the third team are a really, really well-drilled team. Under Ralf Rangnick, Austria are good. So, yeah, Poland probably did get the hardest group, which was unfortunate. Simons for 70 million or Eze for 60 million. Well, we'll talk about that now. Anchor says, is the Victor Gyökeres news legit? It's coming from a very random Portuguese source that claims to be specific to Sporting. But I don't know. I don't know how legit that source is, truthfully. So, no worries, Devin. No worries. Good to see you back. Apologies. My voice is on the ropes. But no. So what I wanted to actually talk about then is the options that we've got that we've supposedly been linked to. So you've got Eze, 60 million. Not sure what his wage demands would be. I don't think they'd be too bad. You've then got Pedro Neto, and this came out today from The Telegraph. Wolves have set their price for Pedro Neto at 60 million. So you've got Eze and Pedro Neto both at 60 million. Both probably would want similar wages. And then the third one you've got is Nico Williams. Now, Fabrizio said today, what I'm told is that some big English clubs have made contact with people close to Nico Williams. The fucking TV's turned itself on again. English clubs have made contact with people close to Nico Williams 2, 3, or 4 weeks ago. He is appreciated by people at Chelsea and by people at Arsenal too. Many clubs have moved to understand the situation. Barcelona love Nico Williams, but it all depends on what happens with FFP. There was interest in recent months from Arsenal, Liverpool, Bayern too, although now they're signing EZE. Let's see what Arsenal, Liverpool, and Barcelona decide to do. It's not an easy deal. It is an expensive deal, so we're still waiting for concrete movements. Nico Williams himself has then said, I've just signed a new deal at Athletic a few weeks ago. I feel very good there. I'm very happy at Athletic. It's very strange to be receiving these questions on my future. So maybe he's happy to stay there. Maybe he is happy to stay there. But yeah, I don't know. But the interesting thing with him is that he's cheaper. You know, the other two are 60 million. Nico Williams is about 50 million euros. So that's actually less than 50 million pounds. However, way more money in wages. And if you start adding it up, let's say that he would demand, for argument's sake, let's say that he would demand 50,000 a week more than the other two. Because you've got to bear in mind, he's already earning over 200,000 a week. So let's say he demands 50 grand a week more than either of the other two would. Well, 50 grand a week over a season is 2.6 million. If you say it's a 5-year contract, that's 13 million quid. So in the end, his actual full deal ends up being more expensive than the other two because of the additional wages. So it's an interesting one to look at. Who's not hit the like button yet? Yeah, reveal yourselves. If you've not hit the like button yet, you are a Spurs fan. Will you add 10 million on ESR and Reece for Kudus? What do you mean? What do you mean? Do you mean would I say Smith Rowe, Reece Nelson, and 10 million for Kudus? Yeah. Would I? Smith Rowe, Reece Nelson, 10 million for Kudus. I think Smith Rowe, you're looking at 30 to 35. Reece Nelson, apparently we want 25 to 30. I think that's unrealistic. I think you're looking at 15 to 20. Plus 10. You'd be valuing Kudus at like 65 mil. Yeah. Yeah, I probably would. We need to be careful about judging players from an international tournament because they rarely convert that form to club level. Enzo, James Rodriguez, fuse out. Oh, I completely agree. Unless I was already sold on a player and then they were proving it even more at the tournament, I'm not going to change my mind. So I still have concerns over Nico Williams. Don't get me wrong. Nico Williams looked brilliant against Italy. I still have concerns about him, about his end product. Those concerns won't disappear during one international tournament. So ESR is max 20. He's not even playing 90 minutes a season. He's not max 20. He's just not max 20. Bear in mind, an 18-year-old that's played 148 minutes of senior football in his entire life went from Aston Villa to Chelsea for 19 million today. Smith Rowe is worth more than that. I've fallen for that Calafiori. Fixated on him now. I mean, Calafiori's got greenery. Calafiori does have greenery. So, you know, we can take the greenery. Have heard Nico Williams has games like Italy 1 out of 4 times. Yeah, that's my concern. That's my concern with Nico Williams, is the lack of consistency, especially the lack of consistency in his final ball. That concerns me. And I think that would end up frustrating Arsenal fans as well. Italians don't leave Italy, sadly. Some of them do. Some of them do. Jorginho did. It is possible. They don't often do it, but did you see Amrabat's performance in the World Cup? Would be great for our 6th position. Yeah, I mean, exactly. United got absolutely done over by Amrabat's World Cup performances. That's just how it goes. Get Barella, he's class. Tonali did, yeah. Tonali was probably different reasons. Barella is class. Again, though, would he leave? The thing is, Inter don't need money. The one thing you have to look at in Italy at the moment is that Inter don't need money. So getting an Inter player, much harder. Do you think the Premier League will do anything about Everton, Chelsea, Villa and Newcastle selling and buying players for inflated prices just to get around PSR? Nope. They might try and do something eventually, but what they're doing right now, they won't retrospectively get penalised for. It's difficult anyway. It's actually difficult to get. The only reason, so that this happened in Italy, right? And it's happened all over Europe, but it happened in Italy. Juventus did it. And it got investigated and stuff. And there's no way of proving that you've inflated a player's price or that you've bought a player for an inflated price. It's very difficult to prove that because you can just say, well, we agreed on a fee. Like, as 2 clubs, we agreed on a fee. Prove that we deliberately inflated it. It's very difficult to do that. The only reason in Italy that Juventus didn't get away with it was because the investigation involved basically tapping people's phones, and there were some like emails and stuff that came out where within those communications, they had literally acknowledged that they were inflating the prices and that they knew that that was wrong. So it was only because that came out that Juventus got done for it. Now, I would imagine one of the teams involved in this little merry-go-round of PSR sales, I'd imagine one of them is more responsible than the others. I would imagine one of them is kind of the ringleader that's gone, right, why don't we all work together and do this? And they are doing it. And there's not really anything anyone can do. I don't see anything wrong with what these teams are doing. Well, they're changing the value of players so that they can get around the PSR rules, which makes the PSR rules redundant. We don't even need to sell players before June 30th. It's next June for us. Supposedly. You're trusting what Chelsea have briefed out, and Chelsea consistently lie in their briefs. In the same way that 20 minutes before it was announced that Elise was going to Bayern, Chelsea briefed to the media that they had pulled out of the race for Elise because they didn't want to spend that amount on his wages. Chelsea manipulate the media an awful lot. Wild shout, Grealish to Arsenal. It's an interesting one. The issue is I just don't see Man City doing another deal like that. I think it was different. I think when we got Zinchenko and Jesus, it was different. They didn't see us as rivals at that point, so they didn't mind helping us out. It's kind of how they are now with like a Chelsea. I don't see them doing that for us again, personally. ESR is hitting 25 next summer, not 19. Yeah, but ESR's also proven that he's a much higher level. ESR, when he was fit a couple of seasons ago, was electric in the Premier League. Conceição could be a good backup, possibly. And his dad has now left the club, so maybe. Grealish's wages are going to be massive. They are. They are. Chelsea definitely have Fabrizio on the payroll. Yeah, I think so, personally. What's your prediction for the Belgium game? 2-1 to Belgium. I still think it'll be a close game, but I'm going 2-1 Belgium. Interestingly, by the way, and this has kind of gone under the radar, it came from Darren, what's his surname? Darren, I can't remember his surname. Darren someone or other in the Daily Mirror. And he was saying that actually Man City were genuinely interested in EZE, and they couldn't do it because of FFP. And I've seen a few things now. City wanted Bruno G, but they can't do it because of FFP. City wanted EZE, they couldn't do it because of FFP. And it's kind of gone under the radar, but it sounds like Man City are genuinely in trouble with FFP again. Like they seemingly are struggling to go out and buy players this window, which is interesting. So whether or not it's because they can't do it until June 30th, and obviously the EZE deal's already been done, I don't know, but it is an interesting one. Belgium should start Openda instead of Lukaku. I kind of agree. They should start Openda. Whether it's for Lukaku or not, I don't know. Been rumours today, Kimmich is off, and we're front of the queue if he comes to England. I hope so. I'd like Kimmich. I would definitely take Kimmich. City's wage bill is off the charts when they win stuff with all the bonuses. It is, yeah. City's wage bill is off the chain. That's what happens when you spent 110 million on Grealish. It's a fair point. It is a fair point. Anything on Gyökeres or Bruno G? On Gyökeres, if you watch the first 15 minutes of yesterday's stream, we spoke about him yesterday with these links coming out of Portugal. Bruno G, I've not heard anything about in ages, to be honest. I can see a Romania win tonight. Belgium look like a team of individuals, in my opinion. Not for me, but realistically, Belgium should have won the opening game. They had 2 goals disallowed. Lukaku couldn't finish his dinner. The goal that they did score, the handball, I thought it was incredibly harsh to rule that one out. So, yeah, I think in my opinion, people over-exaggerated how bad Belgium were in that game, where I think 9 times out of 10, they actually win that game, probably. But I think Man City are in a situation where spending top money for players may go against them with the ongoing trial and the investigation later in the year. Maybe it is one of those ones where they don't spend anything this summer, and then when they go to court, they're like, "Oh, look at us! We couldn't even spend any money this summer. We followed the rules." But perhaps, I don't know. I want a Trossard masterclass. Yeah, me too. Actually, let's. I'll bring up the lineups. I've not even seen the lineups myself yet. So the lineups are as follows. Wait, is this the wait? Trossard's not even playing. Castile's in goal. Castagna, Face, Vertonghen, Doku, Tielemans, Onana, Theater, De Bruyne, Lukaku, and Lukabakia. I mean, surely it's not going to be like that, is it? Really? That's not going to be the formation, is it? Presumably, one of these two plays at left back. Lukabakia plays here. De Bruyne plays in midfield, and Doku plays off the right. That would make it's a 4-3-3, right? They're not playing a fucking 3-4-3. That with De Bruyne off the right wing. That's clearly wrong. And then the Romania team, Dragusin, Man, he was good. Stanchu, what a screamer. We'll see. It'll be an interesting game. What happened to the Man City court thing about sponsorships? That's a good question. What did happen to that court trial? When was that? That was like 2 weeks ago, right? SS9, good to see you. That was a couple of weeks ago, right? Did anything even come of it? I don't even know. Genuinely, I don't even know. Did anything come of that? Really like Bakayoko. Looked good in the first game off the bench too. Yeah, I mean, that first game, I thought it was difficult to judge him, to be honest. Potentially should have scored when the ball fell to him, but he looks lively. I think we find out about the City thing on Monday. Oh, lovely. Lovely. That'll be some good TikTok content. That'll be some good TikTok content. You'll love to see it. Trossard comes off the bench. Yeah, I mean, Belgium have got a strong bench. Bakayoko, Trossard, Openda. I mean, to be fair, outside of that, their bench isn't strong at all. But in an attacking sense, they got a strong bench. Seen a report on Twitter, Martinelli broke a metatarsal in his foot and is out for 6 weeks, but nothing legit, so it could be bullshit. Well, he did hurt his foot. That was my concern, was that there was more damage to it than just a bruise, because he kicked the underside of Militao's foot. Like you said, I've not seen any actual update on that injury, but that would be a nightmare if he has done that. Do you believe Gyökeres is world class? Not yet, no. No. You can't call a player world class when they've not competed in a top league. You like, there's no way. There is no world class player that hasn't done it in a big league and on the biggest stage. Hopefully he's okay. Yeah, I hope so. I saw that he's back from injury for their game on Tuesday, but hopefully he's fine then. Hopefully he's fine. Prospect at 26 years old. Yeah, but players' careers go in different ways, right? Jarrod Bowen, for example, was still at Hull City in the Championship when he was like 23. For most people, he'd have completely missed the boat. A right winger, he was playing non-league football when he was like 18, 19. Most people these days would say there's no chance for them. Like, players' careers take different paths. If you call him a prospect at 26 years old, if you get a brilliant 6 years out of him, which you could very easily do for a striker like him, happy days. It's everyone's obsessed with signing teenagers. Development is non-linear. Exactly. John P is not feeling Nico Williams. Something about him doesn't quite excite me. Interesting. I think there are bits about him that do excite me. I think the way he takes it past the man is very exciting. I just do have some question marks over his end product. But imagine Ødegaard threading it through to Gyökeres next season. Exactly. We will be there. I would love it. Do you think competition will help Martinelli out and help him improve and become an even better player? Yeah, 100%. Competition helps everyone. I mean, I think he's already got competition. With Trossard at this point, he has genuine competition already, but everyone's obsessed with teenagers. Pause. Maybe you're not wrong. Honestly, some of these people on Twitter moving like Dr. Disrespect. It's crazy. Drogba didn't leave France until 20 years ago. Kante, Mahrez both left France in their mid-20s. Exactly. Granit back at the Emirates this summer. Is it? What are we playing? I saw the thing about the Emirates Cup, but I didn't read into it. Xhaka just started lighting up and he's 30. Yeah, exactly. You're bang on. Bakayoko's a more complete Doku, in my opinion. He's a priority signing. Possibly. I want to see more of him at the Euros, to be honest. I'd quite like to see him come on quite early today so we can see more of him. Lyon and Leverkusen in August. Nice. Both at the Emirates. Very nice. We will be there. That'll be a good game. That Leverkusen game will be a good game. Lacazette back at the Emirates as well then. Players are not suddenly bad once they pass the age of 25. Exactly. Especially like a big striker like him. Comfortably got 6, 7, 8 years at the top, you know. It's not a problem. With the congestion upcoming, we can't let any players go into the Olympics. We're not. I don't think we are letting anyone go to the Olympics. As far as I'm aware. Saliba definitely isn't anyway. How much are tickets usually? I think they're about 20 quid. 20, 30 quid. How long until we get our first concrete transfer news, do you reckon? End of the Euros. I think it'll all start coming out. Oh, I was interestingly today, there's a kind of like a football accountant, lawyer kind of guy that digs into all of that sort of stuff. And he specifically said about all of these transfer links between like Everton and Chelsea and Villa and Newcastle and all that today. He was like, the only teams that are likely to be involved in transfers before the end of June are teams that have PSR issues. He was like, if you don't have PSR issues, you're not going to do a signing before the end of June, because then if you do it after June, you get the full benefit of the 3 years after that. So yeah, I would maybe things start picking up in July once we get into July, but I think it will mainly come after the end of the Euros, in my opinion. Where do you get tickets for the preseason games at the Emirates? Just on the website, like normal. It's just on the website. I don't think they'll do ballots for it. I'm certain they won't do ballots for it because it won't be that high demand. But it will just be off the website on normal. 45 million for EZE is a steal. Do you know what? I do think that's very good value. I think it's what, like 45 million plus 5 million in add-ons? I mean, we were nowhere near it. We were not interested in that deal. I don't know if that was because of the wage demands or what it was. But yeah, it's an interesting one because it does feel like an absolute bargain. Now, what is interesting, if you look at that Bayern squad, Sane, does Sane look for a move? Is EZE basically going to take Sane's spot in that squad or in the starting 11? You know, they can't possibly have Coman, Musiala, Gnabry, Sane, and EZE. That's 5 of them. So, is there a potential player that's going to leave there that we could go for? Maybe. Nico Williams is good. Nico Williams is good. I was thinking the same thing. Coman, Sane might be up for grabs. Yeah, I think so. Give me Musiala. I mean, Musiala would be the one that you really want, but he's probably the one that's least likely to be available because he's probably the one that almost guarantees keeping his place. Heard they want to sell Gnabry. Yeah, interesting. Would you take Gnabry back? Gnabry, like, truthfully, even though obviously he's ex-Arsenal, out of Coman, Gnabry, and Sane, Gnabry's probably the one I'd be least interested in. Think Smith Rowe would have got more game time if we didn't sign Trossard. FYI, I still love Leah. Yeah, probably. If we didn't have a Trossard in the squad, Smith Rowe would probably have had to start, or would probably have had to come in on the left-hand side more. Probably right. What changes would you make for the England game? I'd make quite a lot. I'd move Trent to right back, take Walker out. I'd put Wharton in midfield alongside Rice, keep Bellingham at 10, Gordon off the left, bench Foden, Saka off the right still, and Kane. And I'll probably put Joe Gomez at left back. Is it Musiala only on 1 year left on his deal? Yeah, but I just can't imagine them letting him go. I'd just be shocked if they let Musiala go. That's the only thing. I don't know. Maybe they will. But I'd be shocked. Apparently, he does want to come back to the Premier League at some point, though. He does want to come back to the Premier League at some point. But I just don't feel like it'll be now. I just don't feel like it'll be now. Maybe. Saka needs rest. He's still carrying that injury. Yeah, he does, but he's not going to get it. Do you think Foden is a system player? Partially a system player, but also England don't have a system, and the system that we kind of do have doesn't suit Foden at all. So at that point, you've just got to say, look, he's a brilliant player, but he's just not working for what we need right now, so you've got to get rid of him. 25 likes away from 100. Great job, chat. Nearly there. Come on. There's 25 of you right now that haven't clicked like. There's more than 25 of you, but there's at least 25 of you. There's 25 good people here. There are 25 good, honest, top people that haven't clicked like. And it's a complete accident that you haven't clicked like yet. I know it is. And you're going to do it right now. That's what you are. You are in the process of clicking like this second. No, Southgate doesn't really have a system. That's the problem. But in terms of systems that work, one thing that is tried and tested that works for England is letting Harry Kane drop deep and having 2 runners in behind. We don't have that with Phil Foden. We do have that with Anthony Gordon. So, yeah, for me, You bring in Wharton, who will progress the ball through the lines. You bring in Trent at right back, who can actually... And then, if you've got Gordon off the left, you've actually got some value in Trent, because those long diagonals, there's actually going to be someone on the end of them. So there you go. Foden's 100% assistant player. Can't change my mind. That's why I think Saka's better. No, he is to an extent. I think all of the City attack... If you look at the City players that are doing well at the Euros and the ones that aren't, it's the attacking players that are not doing well. It's City's attacking players are struggling. Whether it is Foden, I mean, Bernardo Silva scored today, but I still don't think he's very effective for Portugal. De Bruyne hasn't been brilliant. Doku hasn't been brilliant. Grealish didn't even get selected. It's the attacking players that struggle. Outside of that, Rodri's having a great tournament. Akanji's having a brilliant tournament. Ake's having a brilliant tournament. So I think the defenders are kind of all right. Gvardiol's been decent. But I think, yeah, when it comes to the system, the attacking players struggle. They do struggle. England need a runner. Don't know why Rashford wasn't on the plane. Rashford would genuinely be a good option at this point. But then I want to see Gordon try, and at least Gordon should be starting over Rashford. In terms of someone that can do that, Gordon should be starting over Rashford. Now, if you try Gordon and it doesn't work, then you don't have Rashford. But yeah, it's tough. It's tough. Anyway, it is time for Guess the Gooner. I'm going to give you 5 clues about an ex or current Arsenal player, and you have to guess who that player is in the chat. First person to get it right wins the immense pride and respect of the Rory Talks Football community. Get your fingers on your keyboards, because we're starting now. Clue number 1, this player joined Arsenal from Sevilla. Clue number 1, this player joined Arsenal from Sevilla. Clue number 2, they scored 23 goals in 110 games for Arsenal. Clue number 2, they scored 23 goals in 110 games for Arsenal. Clue number 3, they are an invincible. Clue number 3, they are an invincible. Clue number 4, they won the Europa League a record 5 times. Clue number 4, they won the Europa League a record 5 times. And clue number 5, they passed away in 2019. Clue number 5, they passed away in 2019. There you go. Some people got that absolutely rapido off the Sevilla. The Sevilla transfer had people rapidly getting it. And the winner was, and there's no way I'm getting VAR for this, because I can literally see every single answer from the point that we started. The winner is, it's Ross Lawman. Ross Lawman is back. He is back to the top. Ross Lawman was first. Ethan Udall was very unlucky to come second. Jermaine was third. Pekka was 4th. And Samuel Willem was 5th. With Tom, John P, Vivi Vlad, Anna Simos, all very, very close behind. But there you go. Congratulations. There you go. We've had the VAR check. Goal given, Ross Lawman. Congratulations to Ross. Yeah, I didn't realize how easy that was going to be off the Sevilla. I suppose I can't really think of many other players that we signed from Sevilla. But was first on my screen. That's gutting. I thought I won. Yeah, that's painful. That is painful. Mods are rigging it. Yeah, that was all the mods out on top. All of the mods were out on top. Anyway, it is time for Guess the Non-Gooner. It is time for Guess the Non-Gooner. I'm going to give you the entire career path of a player who does not and has not played for Arsenal. You have to guess who that player is. First person to get it right wins the immense pride and respect of the Rory Talks Football community, but not as much respect as Ross Lawman currently has. This player started their career at the Sporting Academy. They started their career at the Sporting Academy. They moved from Sporting to Lille. They moved from Sporting to Lille. They moved from Lille to AC Milan. They moved from Lille to AC Milan. And that's currently where they're at. Bang, 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 dun, 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 da, da, boo, doo, 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 doo. There we go. There we go. People are getting it. And the winner is Ben Mattinson. Look at that. The ball knowledge. He has transferable skills from Twitter threads to guess the non-gooner. Ben Mattinson is first. Samuel Willem is second. I'm going to give it to you and assume that you've been auto-corrected there with Leap. Ross Lawman was third. Captain Nana was fourth. Again, assuming that you've been auto-corrected. And Sportcat was fifth. There you go. Congratulations to Ben Mattinson. We cannot compete with Ben. We cannot compete. Shouldn't it be Guess the Gunner, not Guess the Gooner? Yeah, but I call it Guess the Gooner. And then Arsenal themselves copied me and started doing the game on their own YouTube channel without giving me any sort of credit because they're massive frauds. But, you know. VAR, spot on. Ben Mattinson wins. Retiring on a high. He came, he saw, he conquered. That's all he needs to do. Oh my God, I'm in the same live as Ben Mattinson. You are. Yes, you are. Was close for the dirty double. No dirty double today for Ross Lawman. How dare they copy you? I know. It's a disgrace. It's a disgrace. Fabrizio said Chelsea not going for Williams because of his wages, and Arsenal and Liverpool have held talks with people close to Williams. If it's down to us if it's genuinely down to us against Liverpool, and by the way, Barcelona are in the mix as well, but I think they'll struggle with his wages as well. If it is down to us and Liverpool, mate, we're in a good shout because Liverpool do not like paying high wages at all. Especially, I can't imagine Edwards is going to come back in and drop big wages on a player like that. I can't imagine. What time's the Twitch stream going to be? The Twitch stream will be at about 10:15. My voice is struggling beyond belief, but we will persevere. We will persevere, and we will be there. So yeah, about 10:15. We'll be live on Twitch. Link to Twitch is down in the description below. We'll be back live on Tifo tomorrow at 8. Well, like 7:45 for both of the final group games in Group A. So you've got Germany against Switzerland and Scotland against. That is tomorrow, right? I'm not losing my mind. That is tomorrow, right? I don't know why I'm second guessing myself now. That is tomorrow, right? Yeah. So Scotland against Hungary, Switzerland against Germany. We'll be live on Tifo. Links down in the description. 3 more likes to hit 100 likes. If there are 3 of you here that could hit the like button, that'd be great. But yeah, other than that, I hope you all have a fantastic evening. Like the video, subscribe if you are new. I'll be on Twitch at 10:15. Links in the description. I'll be back live tomorrow on here and on Twitch and on Tifo. Hopefully my voice survives. Have a good evening. Have a good Sunday. And goodbye.